Hi, this is Anthony Smith conducting interviews with retired and former SWCC operators on traumatic brain injury and orthopedic injuries. And this interview is number 12, titled SWCC TBI. It is with GMC SWCC Kyle uh, Zellhoefer, and here is Kyle.
Yeah, so my name is Kyle Zellhoefer. I was SWCC Class 5-1. My first team was at Special Boat Team 20 in Virginia. I did 2 Mark V deployments, did some training department time. I did ribs out of Special Boat Team 22, stock R's, and PBLs out of NAV ski yachts, and I was a SWCC for 16 years.
Interview number 12. Cal answered questions from the following questionnaire formats and gave permission to produce this presentation and share it openly. We used the operator syndrome scale, the GAD-7 scale, the PLC-5 scale, the PHQ-9, the NSI for neurobehavior, and then I did a SWCC background questionnaire which recovered data on his time in the SWCC community, boats he served on, teams, deployments, and things of that nature. So Kyle has currently 18 and a half, almost 19 years active duty. He's still active duty. He spent 16 years as a SWCC operator. He was in class 51. He graduated SWCC school in 2005. He served at Special Boat Team 20, Special Boat Team 22, and NAV ski yachts. He worked on 11-meter ribs, Mark V sock R's, and PBLs at ski yachts. He did 10 deployments total, 3 Mark V cycles, I believe, and well over 12,000 plus hours on SWCC fast boats, probably more than that. A little hard to estimate right now. Well over 1 million weight pounding impacts on fast boats, causing whiplash, micro concussions, MTBI, all that stuff. And Kyle does not have a history of contact sports. So Navy SWCC is a special class of elite naval warriors who have been a decisive force behind some of America's most important secret missions. Special boat operations have unique and often deadly challenges due to the combination of operating powerful, sophisticated machines designed for speed and stealth in some of the planet's most inhospitable environments. The average SWCC career operator experiences MTBI and major orthopedic injuries over the course of their career in peacetime and in war. And Naval Special Warfare conducts missions in over 70 countries, 365 days a year. The sum of SWCC injury does not accumulate until the operator retires. Before we talk more about the interview, we need to briefly discuss operator syndrome. Operator syndrome is not a diagnosis, it is a qualitative descriptive framework of a nexus of symptoms and illnesses, and it was coined by Dr. Christopher Free. There's a DOI link to it there, and we're going to be talking about operator syndrome and as it pertains to SWCC operators. So operator syndrome is a nexus of psychiatric illnesses and disorders along with chronic major orthopedic injuries as defined in the literature. Operator syndrome affects all SOF forces, that's all special operations forces from every major branch due to the nature of our job and our training and our deployment cycles and our high op tempo. There's a list of different SOF units right there throughout the branches, and SWCC is included in this group of SOF operators. This slide here shows all the different illnesses and symptoms within the framework of operator syndrome, and we're looking at here everything in red are the things that Kyle is dealing with currently, and he has traumatic brain injury. This was diagnosed at Intrepid Spirit. It was also diagnosed at the Tampa Prep VA facility. Endocrine dysfunction, sleep disturbance, obstructive sleep apnea. Kyle has chronic joint back pain, orthopedic problems and headaches, migraines. He has depression, pretty severe, post-traumatic stress disorder, pretty severe, issues with anger, worry, rumination, and stress reactivity, some marital and community dysfunction, although that he said that has gotten better. He has hypervigilance, severe memory, concentration, and cognitive impairments. It's very severe with that, vestibular and vision impairments, and that's it. So here are some of Cal's comorbidities due to SWCC butt operations. Traumatic brain injury. Cal has post-concussion syndrome. He went to Intrepid Spirit, I think, back in 2017, and then the VA Prep TBI clinic in Tampa back in 2021, I think is what he said. I highly recommend the VA Prep for all the guys listening to this, especially if you're having trouble getting into Tulane and some of the other clinics. Cal has insomnia. He has PTSD. That was diagnosed both in Intrepid Spirit and Tampa. He has a high level of anxiety and depression. He has chronic cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine degenerative changes and pain. He's had 2 right knee reconstruction surgeries, 2 right ankle surgeries. And something significant about Kyle is he was driving to work one day around noon and blacked out and totaled his car. And luckily, no one was hurt. But at that point, recovering from that, he decided that he needed to leave the SWCC community and focus on his health and just finish out his career, his 20 years, and retire. And some of his other issues are migraines. He has ocular migraines. He has dizziness, balance, and coordination issues, sensitivity to light and noise, short-term memory issues, numbness and tingling in both his arms and legs, executive function issues, anger, irritability, high blood pressure, hearing difficulties, headaches, and issues with his optic nerves in his eyes. Okay, this is a list of symptoms Cal experienced while operating on SWCC fast boats. He experienced mental fatigue due to weight pounding on SWCC boats. He experienced whiplash due to weight pounding on SWCC boats. He experienced blackouts and urinating blood due to weight pounding on SWCC boats. He experienced confusion and lack of focus and concentration due to weight pounding on SWCC boats. He experienced whole body weight pounding and whiplash at speeds of 50 knots. He experienced weight pounding at seas above 10 foot on SWCC boats, and he experienced severe orthopedic injuries due to weight pounding on SWCC boats. So traumatic brain injury for GMC SWCC Cal Zellhoefer. As I've stated in all the other presentations, the average SWCC gets about 3,000 hours of boat time in a deployment cycle. Roche's 94 study conducted underway studies on spec war fast boats for 6 days, over 36 hours of running time, which totaled about 8,610 weight pounding impacts, ranging anywhere from 2 to 25 Gs. Of these 8,610 wave impacts, 4,496 impacts ranged above 5 Gs. 4,496 5G or greater impacts in 36 hours equals to about 124 in an hour. Significant impacts causing whiplash and possible traumatic brain injury, MTBI. So the average SWCC operator most likely endures about 124 whiplash events in 1 hour of operating fast boats that could potentially cause traumatic brain injury. Overall, the average SWCC operator possibly endures about 374,000 plus significant G-force impacts from weight pounding on SWCC boats in one deployment cycle. Cal possibly endured that number times 4, which I'm thinking it could be more, I'm not sure, which equals out to about 1,498,000 plus significant full body impacts while wave slamming on SWCC boats, causing disastrous long-term effects of chronic orthopedic injury, whiplash, and MTBI. which leads to post-concussion syndrome. Cal did about 10 deployments total, but a lot of these are, a couple months here, a couple months there, not your traditional 6-month cycles. So it's a little bit more difficult to, ascertain what his actual numbers are. But I'm pretty sure 1.4 million is probably accurate. Okay, so here's a summary of symptoms for the operator syndrome framework regarding former SWCC operator Kyle Zellhoefer. Etymologically speaking, Kyle is a 42-year-old former special boat operator as of right now, January 2023. He has 19 years of military service. 16 of those are as a SWCC operator, and roughly 10 deployments. 3 of those in your typical deployment cycle. And he has about 12,000 hours, probably more, on SWCC boats, and potentially causing 1.4 million significant full body impacts while weight pounding on SWCC fast boats. Kyle has over 14 plus symptoms of MTBI and a nexus of orthopedic injuries. Kyle endured full body slamming, whiplash, mental fatigue, dizziness, blackouts, confusion, and blood in his urine from weight pounding at significant G-forces up to 10 feet and at speeds of 65 miles an hour. Kyle has many post-concussion symptoms from service-connected TBI and PTSD, along with long-term major orthopedic injuries and some joint surgeries one would expect to see based on his history of weight pounding and whiplash on military fast boats and other activities related to a SWCC career. And Kyle does not have a history of contact sports. And lastly, the conclusions from this ongoing project. So far, there have been 12 interviews or record reviews, and still counting. 100% of SWCC operators interviews so far have significant TBI exposure, contributing to post-concussion symptoms. 100% of SWCC operators so far experience full body weight pounding, whiplash, and orthopedic injury from SWCC boat operations, proven to cause mental, emotional, and physical injury. 100% of SWCC operators so far still lack the VA ratings for service-connected injuries due to SWCC fast boat service. Information in this presentation provides evidence that Kyle was a SWCC operator on fast boats for multiple deployments, and the aggregate of data collected in these interviews connect long-term TBI, post-concussion syndrome, and orthopedic injury to SWCC boat service. Most importantly, thousands of former and retired SWCC operators suffer from long-term and MTBI and major orthopedic injury without acknowledgement or help from the VA or DoD. There remains a gap in TBI research on this peer group. References for SWCC TBI are listed in my presentation titled SWCC TBI, which is posted on my YouTube page. Thank you.